fish farming is developed sustainably so as to improve nutritional levels and incomes of the people of Machakos. Machakos County is one of the 15 counties selected to implement the IFAD program dubbed Aquaculture Business Development Program, that is ABDB. ABDB overall goal is to improve smallholder livelihoods through increased incomes, food security, and nutritional status of wider communities of poor rural households involved in aquaculture. The Directorate of Fisheries is overseeing fishing activities in Masinga Dam. The fish from Masinga Dam is landed in at least 4 gazetted fish landing sites or beaches. Through the beach management units in the 4 beaches, the aspect of fisheries management of the fishery is addressed where community participation is attained. 2.0. Executive Summary. Honorable Speaker, the report on half-year status report for the fisheries subsector in the Department of Agriculture was forwarded to the Assembly pursuant to Article 183.3 of the Constitution. The Committee on Agriculture is provided in Standing Order 195, scrutinized the report, investigated on the implementation status, and subsequently compiled a report. Honorable Speaker, upon investigation and inquiry into the implementation, some of the key observations noted include benefits acquired from Aquaculture Business Development Program, that is ABDB, in 11 wards. 110,000 fingerlings were stocked in various dams, low hatchery capacity within the county, poor monitoring after stocking, lack of proper plan to maintain water level in the dams, unsustainable method of fish production, and low staffing of fisheries technical officers, among other observations. Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends increase the capacity.
Increase in the capacity.
Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends increase the capacity of Machakos ATC Archery through budgetary allocation, facilitation of community groups with fish ponds and pod liners, training community groups on fish feed formulation, incorporation of intensive method of fish farming, alternate ways of acquiring crude protein, recruitment of extension officers in the fisheries subsector, and desilting of dams to increase water capacity. 3.0, mandate of the committee. Honorable Speaker, the Committee on Agriculture is established pursuant to the second schedule of the standing orders with specific mandates to deal with all matters related to agriculture, including crop and animal husbandry, cooperatives, livestock sale yards, county abattoirs, plant and animal disease control, irrigation, fisheries, cooperative societies, and veterinary services, excluding regulation of the profession. 4.0, committee composition. Honorable Speaker, the Committee on Agriculture comprises of the following honorable members. 1, Honorable Moses Mita, Chairperson. 2, Honorable Michael Mutiso, Vice Chair. 3, Honorable Benedetta, Member. 4, Honorable Geoffrey Kamulu, Member. 5, Honorable Joshua Nzuki, Member. 6, Honorable Constance Nzioki, Member. 7, Honorable Anthony Mulu, Member. 8, Honorable Nicholas Mutuku, Member. 9, Honorable Paul Nyanzi, Member. 10, Honorable Rosina Kanini, Member. 11, Honorable Tariq Mulatia, Member. 12, Honorable Mark Mwendo, Member. 13, Honorable Ikusia Kaloki, Member. 4.1, Secretariat. 1, Luke Mainge, Clerk Assistant. 2, Louis Mkiduka, Clerk Assistant. 3, Mary Nzembi, also Clerk Assistant. 5.0, relevant legal framework. Honorable Speaker, the committee was guided by the following legal provisions, among others. The Constitution of Kenya. Article 179(1) provides that the executive authority of the county is vested in and exercised by a county committee, executive committee. Article 183.3 further provides that the County Executive Committee shall provide the County Assembly with full and regular reports on matters relating to the county. The County Governments Act 2012. Section 39(2) of the County Governments Act 2012 states that, that a committee of the County Assembly may require a member of the executive to A, attend or appear before the committee, and B, answer any questions relating to the member's responsibilities. The County Assembly of Machakos Standing Orders. Standing Order 195A provides for functions of a sectorial committee as to investigate, inquire into, and report all matters relating to the mandate, management, activities, administration, operations, and estimates of the assigned departments. Standing Order number 171 further states that committees shall enjoy and exercise all the powers and privileges bestowed on Assembly by the Constitution and Statute, including the power to summon witnesses, receives evidence, and to request for and receive papers and documents from the government and the public. 6.0, background information. Honorable Speaker, among the Big Four agenda, food security is one of the key agenda. The Department of Agriculture in Machakos County in its mission is focused to ensure food security and income, advance agro-based industries and agricultural exports, and enhance sustainable use of land and water resources as a basis for agricultural enterprises. Provision of cheap and affordable health care is the other agenda. Fish, owing to its good nutritional content, is relied on very much as a game changer in many health issues that are affecting the citizens. Fish is filled with omega-3 fatty acids and vitamins such as vitamin D and B2, that is riboflavin, and is rich in iron, calcium, and phosphorus minerals. Fish production, which the department is now promoting, is a key contributor in ensuring food security, creation of incomes with resultant effect of reducing poverty level. Machakos County government intends to reduce poverty level from 42.6% to 30% in 10 years. On the other hand, nutritionists are encouraging consumption of white meat, of which fish is one of them, as opposed to red meat, which recently has been reported to provoke health problems. On this basis, the Committee on Agriculture sought to investigate what the county government of Machakos has done to promote fish sector, which happens to be one of the industries that have a future as far as contribution in food security is concerned. 7.0, Committee Planning Meeting. Honorable Speaker, during a meeting held on 14th May 2021, that is minute 5/agriculture/14/421, the committee discussed on the performance of the fisheries subsector in Machakos County and its effect in contributing to food security. The committee also reviewed on the budget implementation of the subsector for fiscal year 2020-2021. In view of the above, the committee resolved as a way forward to inquire into the performance of the fisheries subsector for fiscal year 2020-2021. The committee came up with the following terms of reference. 1, to analyze the performance report for the fisheries subsector for the fiscal year 2020-2021. 2, to conduct site visit to some sampled places to ascertain the level of budget implementation on the fish subsector. 3, find out the progress of the 110,000 fingerlings stocked during the fiscal year 2020-2021. 4, to find out the level of monitoring of the implemented fish program. 5, recommend appropriate interventions for better performance of the fisheries subsector. 8.0, the Aquaculture Business Development Program. Honorable Speaker, in the half-year performance report for the Department of Agriculture for fiscal year 2020-2021, Aquaculture Business Development Program, that is ABDB, was reported as one of the donor programs that is currently promoting fish farming in some selected sub-counties in Machakos County. The International Fund for Agriculture Development, that is IFAD, in conjunction with the Government of Kenya, that is GOK, initiated an 8-year program dubbed the Aquaculture Business Development Program, that is ABDB.
Point of information, Mr.
The lead implementing agency is the State Department for Fisheries, Aquaculture,
What
and
is the point of information? Honorable Judas Ndawa on a report which is being read.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I just want to inform the chair, the speaker, that the House lacks quorum. I'm from the extended chamber and there are no members there. So if we assume we have quorum, we'll be cheating ourselves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Point of information.
Yes, go ahead, Honorable.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. And I have just called one of our sergeant at arms, at least to go and confirm before you make your decision, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, and thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. When I started the assembly, there was quorum, and I believe honorable members should be within the premises. So we will be able to continue, because when I started, there was quorum, and we'll be requesting for members to go and find out whether the other honorable members who are within the premises can be able to come back to and continue with the process. Continue, Honorable Moses Mitao, with the report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to continue. The lead implementing agency is the State Department for Fisheries, Aquaculture, and the Blue Economy. The program will be implemented in 15 counties with high potential for aquaculture, Machakos being one of them. The program will provide technical support, sectoral linkages, and select interventions that will focus on increasing aquaculture production in the implementing counties, as well as develop the aquaculture value chain. The objectives are to increase the incomes, food security, and nutritional status of the wider communities of poor rural households involved in aquaculture in the targeted counties. Following the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the county government of Machakos and ABDB in 12th October 2020, I beg to repeat. Following the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the county government of Machakos and ABDB on 12th October 2020, the program is being implemented in the 4 sub-counties, that is 11 wards. See Appendix 1 and 2. Observations from Appendix 1 and 2. Honorable Speaker, from the programs, the committee observed that 1. Machakos County Government has benefited from Aquaculture Business Development Program, which has assisted in mobilization of residents of Machakos into becoming players in the fish industry. 2. The building of publicity in this sector will contribute widely in attracting residents to practice aquaculture, which will in turn contribute into realizing food security, which is one of the big 4 agenda of Kenyan government. 3. The program has factored the needs of the youth in their participation in fisheries sector, which will be a guarantee of employment, hence economic growth. 4. In building of capacity, which is a key driver into the success of fish industry, the program has, to a great extent, undertaken training of community groups and the youth. 5. The county government of Machakos, from the previous reports, has not been doing well in the provision of pod liners, which by a great extent helps to conserve water in the fish pods. This program has played a key task by providing pod liners to community groups. 6. The Department of Agriculture has currently suffered understaffing, hence affecting extension services. This program has complemented the few extension officers available by providing extension services to offer technical support. 7. The Machakos ATC hatchery is the only source of fingerlings in the county up to date. The program has assisted the county by stocking fingerlings in Kangundo, Kadhiani, and Mavoko sub-counties. 8. The program has contributed in promotion of fruit industry, specifically avocados and oranges, which form part of the fruits that are promising and fetching good prices within and outside the country. 9.0, the half-year performance report, fiscal year 2020-2021. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Article 183.3 of the Constitution of Kenya, the County Executive Committee shall provide the County Assembly with full and regular reports on matters relating to the county. The committee requested for half-year report from the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries Subsector, and the report was provided. See Appendix 3 on stocking programs and major public engagement forums held for stocking of fingerlings in various wards. 9.1, analysis and observations from the report. Honorable Speaker, upon analysis of the above performance report, the committee noted the following. 1, the fingerlings stocked in the various dams were sourced from both the Machakos hatchery at ATC and Sangana fish farms in Kirinyaga County. The hatchery at ATC has a small capacity, hence the greater numbers of the fingerlings were sourced from Sagana. 2, pursuant to Article 10 of the Constitution and Section 87 of the County Governments Act 2012, the department involved public participation in the exercise of stocking fingerlings in the various dams across the county. Into brackets, see Appendix 4 on photos of public forums conducted during the stocking exercise. End of quote. 3. The stocking exercise was carried out in all the sub-counties except in Kangundo sub-county, which had the advantage of benefiting from the International Fund for Agriculture Development, that is IFAD, that is focusing on increasing aquaculture production in the implementing counties, as well as developing the aquaculture value chain. 4. The method used for production is extensive method of fish production, where fingerlings are stocked in natural environment from where they derive food and oxygen. 5. The stocked dams, besides acting as an experimental sites for aquaculture development, serve as provision of water for domestic animals and the community at large. The committee confirmed from site visits that this to a large extent has affected the amount of water available in the dam, hence lowering the survival rate of the fingerlings. 6. The stocked dams had not been desilted when stocking of the fingerlings was done. Most of the said dams are seasonal and could not sustain water for a whole year. 7. That Masinga Dam currently is one of the largest supplier of fish. The committee confirmed the following tonnage of fish and corresponding selling price in the fiscal year 2019-2020 and 2020-2021. Honorable Chair, there is financial year, there is total kgs of fish harvested, and then there is total earnings in Kenya shillings. For the fiscal financial year 2019-2020, kgs 103,890, total earnings 18,488,000. In 2020-2021, kgs harvested 82,100, earnings 14,983 Kenya shillings. The operations in Masinga Dam is managed by Masinga Dam Beach Management Unit, that is MBU, usually collects fish landing data as shown below. I think it's as shown above, Honorable Chair. 8. The department did not make a follow-up to monitor the development of the fingerlings after the stocking exercise. For instance, very low traces of medium-aged fish were identified in Kwakamelo Dam in Mwala, Madhatani Dam in Kinanie, Elumia Dam in Mutituni, among others. 9.0. Third, there was no guidance to the community on the procedure of harvesting the fish, which led to uncontrolled harvesting of immature fish. This has led to some dams like Kadhini Dam in Ekalakala, Kwakavuo Dam in Kalama, and the Mathunya Dam in Mitaboni Ward to have no fish at all by the time the committee conducted fact-finding. 10. That the community lacked fishing equipment to harvest the fish. The public used the locally available materials like some use of mosquito nets to harvest fish. 11. After interrogating the chief officer, the committee noted that the department could not account for the status of maturity of the fingerlings stocked in many of the dams indicated in the report, implying that there is no proper follow-up on the development of the fingerlings. 12. On inquiring on how the feeding program for the fingerlings is conducted, the committee confirmed that the department only supplied the fingerlings which feeds only during the first few weeks after stocking. The chief officer cited high costs of fish feeds as the reason why the department could not sustain the feeding program. 13. The committee observed that the stocking of the dams is being done without first harvesting the mature fish, which in turn feed on the fingerlings. 14. The committee also noted with concern that there was no enough sensitization of the public and involvement local leadership while stocking of the dams with fingerlings. 10.0 recommendations. Honorable Speaker, considering all the above observations, the committee recommends as follows. 1. Increase the capacity of Machakos ATC hatchery through budgetary allocation. This hatchery has a very low hatching capacity, and this has made the county to pay a lot of money to Kirinyaga County, i.e. from Sagana fish ports, to get fingerlings. The move of increasing ATC capacity will promote county resources and create business opportunities for residents of Machakos County. 2. Increase staffing in the department. There is inadequate members of staff to run the Fisheries Directorate efficiently, since currently it has 8 technical officers, whereby 5 are manning the 8 sub-counties. 2 are at the headquarters office, while 1 is running the fish hatchery at the Machakos ATC. The committee therefore recommends that in the next financial year, new officers with fisheries expertise should be recruited. 3. Promotion of community groups fish pods. The Department of Agriculture should organize to put together willing entrepreneurs of fish industry and provide them with technical skills on how to invest in fish industry, which is a promising industry in income generation and provision of employment. A good example is the Kamudanga Fish Farm, which is very popular even outside Kenya in terms of provision of both processed and unprocessed fish. 4. Facilitation of community groups with pod liners. Due to scarcity of water, the department should provide enough pod liners to all established fish farming groups so that the available water in the fish pods is well conserved. 5. Change from extensive farming method to intensive farming method. The method used by the department to stock community dams is extensive method, where fingerlings depend on natural foods and the water. Because of being stagnant, lacks enough oxygen and no assured security to the fingerlings stocked. Further monitoring of the progress of growth is a challenge due to staffing shortage. In extensive method, fish is well managed in flowing water where oxygen is well supplied, artificial feeds are given to complement the natural foods, and daily monitoring on the progress of growth is assured. 6. Training on feed formulation. The county government of Machakos should facilitate training of farmers on use of technology and farm feeds formulation. This will be a move to innovativeness in the use of available farm materials in production process and avoid overdependence on costly commercial feeds from Unga industry that has enjoyed monopoly in production and selling of livestock feeds. 7. Promoting use of alternative source of crude protein for fish, e.g., the black soldier fly larva, which is good food for fingerlings. This will act as alternative to the costly commercial fish feeds. 8. Desiltation of dams. The Department of Agriculture, when carrying out the exercise of stocking the dams with fingerlings, to involve the Department of Water to ensure that the targeted dams are desilted in order to increase the capacity of water. 9. Fencing of the stocked public dams. The Department of Agriculture should endeavor to fence off the perimeter of the public dams to control harvesting of the fish when they are not mature, and also as a safety measure for the locals. 10. Proper record keeping. The Department of Agriculture should keep proper records of the stocked dams within the county, the type of fingerling stocked, time of stocking, and expected date of maturity, so as to keep track of the program and ascertain its viability. 11. Conclusion. Honorable Speaker, the fisheries sector is currently generating substantial interest in both the private and public sectors, and the policymakers and potential investors are slowly appreciating its potential. County government should take cognizance of the fisheries' potential in its ability to contribute to the mainstream economy. There is need for effective management of the fisheries to ensure the sustainability of the fisheries resource and also ensure the well-being of the human communities that depend on it. If managed sustainably, the fisheries sector can be a window of opportunity to enable Kenya to achieve all the 8 Millennium Development Goals, that is MDGs, starting with poverty eradication to global partnership. Honorable Speaker, it is therefore my privilege and pleasure on behalf of the Committee on Agriculture to table before this Honorable House the half-year status report for the fisheries subsector for fiscal year 2020-2021 for discussion and adoption. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The report was prepared by our clerk assistants, and we have appendixes, Honorable Speaker, to support what we have read through. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Moses Mita, for that report. Well read on fisheries subsector. I now propose the question that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of the Committee on Agriculture on the half-year status report for the fisheries subsector for the fiscal year 2020-2021. You may comment on the report, honorable members. Honorable Ellen Ndeti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand here to congratulate the Committee on Agriculture for a very well-written report. I think the report is well-written. At least they have given us recommendations. We have had the challenges the Agriculture Department has, and especially with the silting of the dams that will be able to hold as many fish as we can. I think even as a county, we have challenges of some quality of water, because I understand fish do not do well in areas where the water is salted. The only thing I can say is that agriculture is life, and as a county, we only live on agriculture. So whatever can be done to ensure that we utilize our land to come up with agricultural products would be the best thing that the county can do. However, I would request the same committee to ensure that the next time we are doing a budget, the ATC, Agricultural Training Center, is properly, they are given enough budget to be able to do more research, to train our farmers, and ensure that whatever is grown in various areas, because the climatic condition within the county is not the same, they do enough research to ensure that they know where to do fish and where to do other products, and especially also chicken feeding. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Katumo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Justice Katumo, the voice. Honorable Speaker, I begin to congratulate and applaud this committee for its continuous good work in terms of bringing reports that are of substance to this House and to the entire county, and so especially now to this subsector, the fishery subsector, which is a key indicator of the progress that we need to make in Machakos County in terms of trying to bridge the issue of food security. However, when I go through the report, and as the chair was reading it so well, there was a conclusion that I was making when you look at the challenges, especially the observations and the recommendations that are being made here. There is the issue of poor planning and also management in terms of trying to make this subsector succeed. One of the challenges I've seen is when you read, you find that there are lack of staff, actually trained, skilled staff. We know, of course, from the previous reports that we have received in this county assembly, we have a bloated workforce. But when it comes to the expertise in the areas that we need, then we find we are lacking men and women to work on this subsector. I've also looked at the appendix. You also find they are giving us activities that have been undertaken, program role, and maybe performance indicators or success indicators, and you find that the activities that they have undertaken or they have wished to undertake don't give us good success indicators or performance, because you find that they are doing very little in terms of trying to make this subsector, of course, succeed and perform as anticipated. I would wish to say that when I looked at what has been happening in Masinga, we have that chart that was giving us, where is it? Yes, in page 10, where you find that in Masinga Dam becomes one of the largest supplier of fish. And you look at the 2 financial years where there are some fingers, and you find that in 2019, 2020, then we were able to get 18 million, more than 18 million. Then in the following year, this 2020-21, this year, you find that it is 14 million, which means that if well managed in other areas, then this can be a very good income earner for the county. And therefore, I would wish to say that the challenges that I've seen here are the same challenges that we have seen in other sectors, especially when we have that archery in ATC. ATC has continued to be underfunded, to be understaffed, and therefore there is need to increase that budget. And then this department should be able to give us good indicators that they are willing to do that. Because if, from the report, you find that they are stocking fingerlings in dams that are not well supplied with water, and at the same time they are not distilled regularly. It means that they are just doing the work, but we cannot sustain that momentum. And therefore I support this report that we should look at this subsector and make sure that it succeeds for the benefit of Machakos County. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Kamito.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm Alex Kamitu, leader of minority in this Honorable House, and MC Talawad. Honorable Speaker, it is very obvious that this report by Honorable Moses Mita and from the Committee of Agriculture is quite an elaborate report that, in fact, it should be followed. And I've gone through the report, and it is highlighting things that are supposed to be done, issues that are within our fingertips, because when we're talking about dams, we have got those dams within the county. When we're talking about the fingerlings, they are there at the ETC, although in relationship to the report we are getting is that there is no enough allocation of funds to a very important institution that I would also ask the whole house, if they can make a visit, they can get the right picture of exactly what would happen at the ETC. This is one of the institutions that if the county government involves its seriousness in regard to fisheries, we can go far. Again, I would also request the Agriculture Committee to collaborate with the Department of Environmental, that is the two chief officers, because when we're talking about the environmental katibu, or the chief officer, is the person who is supposed to distill the current dams that we have. Because as Honorable Speaker, normally we are normally out on site visits, and we have visited dams that in case they are distilled, they can arrest a volume of water, not to equal the Masinga dams, but outrightly, as we said, these are things that are within our fingertips. So my humble request, Honorable Speaker, and my recommendation is that let's identify those dams that are not salty, dams that are supposed to be distilled, so that in that collaboration, we can now allocate money at the ATC, because even if now we allocate money and we don't have those dams where we are supposed to take the finger lips there, then we shall be doing a zero job. But I'm not discouraging, because for those that one, and a good example, Honorable Speaker, you are also aware there are those dams, the major dams, that were done during 2019-2020, like the one in Dalana, in what do we call that constitution, Dalani, the other one in Keleni, and yeah. So those are the areas that, in fact, if we can get those hatcheries, we will be able to talk about being a supplier of fishes in the county. Otherwise, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Tariq Mulate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Tariq Mulate, elected from Masinga Central. Mine is very simple. I'm a member of this committee, so I fully support this committee under chairmanship of Honorable Mita. Mine is very simple, Mr. Speaker, to this House, that we've done a lot regarding this report, but the main key is very simple. Most of the time when the executive, they're implementing these things, they are not conducting public participation. This is where the origin of the problem is coming from. Lack of, even in other departments, when you look at trade, when you go around Machakos, you see a lot of open air market, which are very idle. Nobody is there because they never conducted public participation. Honorable Speaker, even in our area in Masinga, they have not conducted these people to tell, because there are some people who doesn't need fingerings. There are others who need, but they don't know. They'll just come, they'll just all, just a small brief, then they'll just put the fingerings there. So I would request the executive to call everything they do, let them conduct public participation. Let them also involve county assembly members, elected and also special elect members. That way we are going to do, the things we are going to implement, they are going to be beneficial to our people. Like, look at the loss which we have gone through these fingerings, especially in Kalakala, in my ward, Masinga Central. Nobody knew. I never knew if they came there. Actually, they came all the way to Kangonde Dam. I didn't know they came there. Nobody knew. They just came there. We used to hear there is fish. We used to see birds coming to that dam. Then later, it was a total mess. So I would urge the executive, once they're implementing anything they're implementing, let them put politics aside. If we are supporting the government or we are not supporting the government, let us all work towards helping our people. That is what is key right now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Tariq. Honorable Musimi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Musimi, representing the people of Kangundo North. Mr. Speaker, I stand to support the report by the Committee on Agriculture. Mr. Honorable Speaker, this is a good report, and it has a good intention to our people. It will be a good project if managed well. But I have it seems to have a challenge. Mr. Speaker, on the ground, I had the report talking of ponds, creating some ponds and providing pond liners. It will be a good report to the youth, and mostly at this time, we have challenge of unemployment. These ponds, Mr. Speaker, will require fresh water from time to time, because while feeding the fingerlings or the fish, Mr. Speaker, the water will be contaminated. And while the water is contaminated, a fish cannot survive on contaminated water. So my worry is, do we have a plan of supplying the ponds with fresh water time to time? Because if we just put the fingerlings in the pods and assume that the water which is there will layer the fingerlings, Mr. Speaker, it will be a total mess. The fingerlings will die, and the project will also die. So my request is to find a way to be supplying the pods with sufficient clean water. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Judas Ndao.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. My name is Judas Ndao, representing the great people of Matu. Mr. Speaker, I will start by congratulating the committee and more so our most able chair for this brief and elaborate report. Mr. Speaker, from the report, there are some issues and there are some recommendations that we need to give as leaders. Mr. Speaker, the issue of fisheries. Business, we have business in different regions. There are areas where issue of fisheries can survive or can be sustained, and there are areas where the issue of fisheries may not be sustainable. Mr. Speaker, I do remember very well the last 10 years, we earned what we used to call stimulus projects, which were funded by the national government. And they tried to come up with these fish ponds. They dug the pond, they provided a liner, and the farmers were supposed to source for water. Mr. Speaker, I want to report here that less than 10% of the project is on. It failed. And from that, we need also to learn from what the other department that the national government is doing. If we are failing, there is no need of us engaging ourselves in research. Mr. Speaker, we need to do research. And a good example is when Equity Bank came in. They had to do a research onto areas which are viable to establish their branches. And instead of incurring much expense to do the research. They just did a very simple thing. They said, we have KCB in that town. If they find that KCB is there, then that was enough research. It means if we have customers for KCB, if we establish our branch there, we're going to survive. And that is how Equity Bank prospered in the business. Mr. Speaker, one of the issues why I'm saying so, we know we are living in a world of limited resources, and water is a scarce resource. The committee is recommending that the issue of scooping or the desilting the dams. As you are aware, most of the dams, they require desilting. I agree with the committee. But by the time when the dam is ready for desilting, the lanes are on. So it may not be able for desilting to be done. So what I would recommend, Mr. Speaker, if we can deal with the issue of the spillway, we raise the spillway. It means now once we raise the spillway, the water level will go up. And maybe that water will remain there until the next season. Because if we talk of desilting, it may not be practically possible. I have several dams in my area. And the moment we try to say now we want to go and desilt, the rains are with us. Or the water dries just 2 weeks to the onset of the late. So if it dries 2 weeks, it means now the doors cannot go in. It will sink there. So let's concentrate on the issue of the spillway. And Mr. Speaker, I would request the Department of Agriculture should also work hand in hand with the Department of Water. Because agriculture is not their mandate to go and raise those spillways or desilt the dams. So we need to have good correlation between the Agriculture Department and the Water Department because they are serving the same client. So, Mr. Speaker, I would request that. The other issue that I would request, Mr. Speaker, it is also good to have control on those dams. The moment the department brings the fingerings and put them on the water, they go away. So members of public start harvesting those fish just less than 1 month. So they harvest them when they are not ready. So we need to have control on those dams so that we are aware the time that we are supposed to harvest. Again, Mr. Speaker, I would suggest then that department to provide the farmers or the people who are harvesting the fish with recommended fishing equipment. So that when you put on your net to harvest, you don't pick the small ones. It will need a net which has big holes so that you just get the big ones, the other ones get back to the water. If we can provide the farmers or those who are doing the fishing with those nets, it means we are going to harvest the ready ones and let the other ones grow. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, the issue of fingerings. We need to have good timing. We need to have good timing. We don't have to bring the fingerings when the dam is almost drying up. Let's put the fingerings when we have sufficient water. Let's calculate, is this water going to take us until the onset of the rain, so that we don't waste resources. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I am requesting the Committee of Agriculture to get on it and maybe evaluate. Now we have inserted fingerings in this dam. How many have survived? How can we quantify the success of this project? So that if it's viable, we continue. If it is not viable, we stop wasting resources. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jacqueline Ziva.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable members present. My name is Jacqueline Ziva, representing the people of Ikombe Ward and the minority chief whip in the House. I wish to applaud my colleague, Honorable Moses Mita, with this committee for a good report. And as Honorable Tariq Mulata said, I think we are supposed to do public participation on these issues, because I remember the year 2007 to 2012, the national government held several economic stimulus programs for the fisheries. And really, people didn't own those projects because there were no public participation done to these people. Really, fisheries are a source of food. They also are economic. They will also be economic because when you sell the fisheries, really money will be flowed back to the community. So I think if we do enough public participation to these people, I believe fisheries will be a big opportunity to our people. I remember most secondary schools had these fisheries, and we are doing very well because even they were a source of even food to the students. They were a source of even economy. People could sell so that the school can be supported in many ways. So if we do these things very well, Chairman Agriculture, I believe our people will benefit a lot, and really we will be a county which will improve even economically. So, Mr. Chairman, please let's do, our speaker, please let's do public participation to this, and even do case studies. Maybe see where are the places where this program has failed, and where this program has improved, and even has done some benefits. So let's do some case studies, and I'm aware at the end of the day we shall improve. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Moffat Maida.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to commend the chairman and his committee for a very good report which they have brought to this House. Honorable Speaker, some of the things which they have mentioned are very good, but others cannot be sustained. For example, when we go to recommendation number 3, promoting of community groups fish pond. Sometimes those officers, when they come on the ground, they get the old women, the old men, people who are not able financially to maintain those ponds. It is equally important to ask them if they can also find able people and they supply the fingerlings to them so that they can maintain and uplift the fish stocking in our country. To Honorable Speaker, when the committee visited some areas, they did not visit Matungulu Westward. In Matungulu Westward, we have very many dams which were dug by the settlers who had bought farms in that area. We have very many dams which are there. So I would wish to request them. The other time they visited them, and they asked for them to be, for the fingerlings to be put in those dams. Again, what Honorable Ndawa said, it is also important for them to check on what is happening. You put the fingerlings there, and that is all. Try and check whether the fingerlings, the people who are harvesting the fish, are harvesting when they are not mature enough to bring, to lay eggs for prosperity. Therefore, it is very important to check on those. Public participation is very important. Let whatever they are doing, do public participation. When you go to Kamudanga Farm, that man should be commended. And when you look at the amount of money he has put in that area, that is too much. Normally, I would go through there and buy fish. You can get a fish, one kilogram. So you can check, you can see how much money he gets out of the work he has done. Therefore, honorable members, I would also wish to ask the committee to take us there for a side visit. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. May the mover of the motion respond, please?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I first want to applaud my colleagues for healthy discussion on this report. Honorable Speaker, matters raised by honorable members were of great concern to this committee, especially when we were going around the selected wards. I would want also to assure Honorable Moffat Maitha that his concern has been received, and as a committee we will engage him and try and identify at least one dam in his ward where we can have the fingerlings dropped, Honorable Speaker. As it has been said, there is this program, Honorable Speaker, which the county has benefited from. And from onset, we want to get matters right, especially on the issues, gray areas where we have noticed we have been failing. Community involvement, facilitation of provision of what is required in the management of these dams, follow-ups, Honorable Speaker, budgetary matters, that is staffing, because in many areas, Honorable Speaker, we found young boys using the old ways of hooks and trying to harvest. In other areas, you go, you find the area is not protected. So, since there are funds, and we have benefited as a county government from donor funds, we want to see great improvement in this sector, Honorable Speaker. I want to stress much of this program, it's more nutritional value addition, Honorable Speaker. And in fact, phase 1, 2 schools in Machakos benefited. And there were those requirements for the schools primary schools to benefit. A population of 1,000 plus and needy. And currently the department is coming up with 2 fish ponds in those schools, because the program is meant to at least create that provision, nutritional value to our children. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to assure honorable members, I want to assure this House that will ensure that there is success. Where we need departments to link, like water department and agriculture department, we'll ensure that they link. If it's issues to do with desilting the dams, we'll ensure that there is proper planning, because as I think it's Honorable Ndawa who mentioned, and even Honorable Musimi, we find ourselves putting fingerlings in seasonal dams. So you ask yourself, what is the value? Because at the end of the day, by September, that program or else that project cannot be sustained. We want to identify dams which can run throughout the year. So that first, before we invest, we ensure whatever we are investing has value. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank again the House, I want to thank your office, I want to thank my able team, Agriculture Committee. They are ever committed to serve this county. I've worked very well with my committee. We actually created clusters so that we could get reports from the 8 sub-counties. And we have actually managed, and I also want to thank honorable members from the areas where we visited, because they created time to be with the committee. Those who didn't have time, they gave us their PS, and we got positive results, because they also planned for community to wait for the committee, so that we engage them and ensure whatever is coming to this House is the right position. So, Honorable Chair, I want to thank you. I want to thank my committee. I want to thank the whole House for their support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Moses Mita. I now put the question that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of the Committee on Agriculture on the half-year status report for the fisheries subsector for the financial year 2020-2021. As many as other opinions say ayes. As many as the contrary opinions say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable members, I just want to make one comment and then we adjourn. And this is on the issues which have been raised, one of the things which are picked, especially on the last item which the Honorable Member has talked about, that we are putting fingerlings in ponds or in dams which are seasonal. I remember I engaged the chief officer at some point, and I told her there is need for them to go into what the president of this country has of late been insisting on, which is the private-public partnerships. We have people who have got sources of water. We have people who have got adequate sources of water in their private properties. I hear us complaining that ATC does not produce enough fingerlings, and we are being forced to import fingerlings from Sagana. Why is it not possible for the government, county government, to go into partnerships with people who have water and stock fingerlings through those people and have an agreement that when these fingerlings are ready, they are going to get to buy them from that person at a subsidized price than what they are getting from Sagana. That will not only improve on the production of the fingerlings, but it will also reduce on the cost of acquiring them and enhance business. There are people with huge sections of their farms which have got a river passing through there, and they have put private dams. We have people who have got boreholes, which are high-yielding boreholes, and they have put ponds in their farms. Those are the people whom we need to go into private-public partnerships with and ensure they can be able to stock the fingerlings and use them for the rest of the county. We have dams like the ones on Matungulu West. The Honorable Member has talked about the dams in his area, which have been there for long, which we know do not dry. Those are the places where we should be stocking those fingerlings. One of the things which has come to me through the things which have been made here, we seem to have been moving very quickly to get the donor funds. And once we have the donor funds with us, now it is how to use it. We have to show we used it. So we just go ahead and arrange for some fingerlings to be bought, some cosmetic shows to be done here. These ones have been stocked here, these ones have been stocked here, these ones have been stocked here, and the money is utilized, and there is no structure of even following up to find out. We put 20,000 fingerlings in this dam. How many fish have we gotten from it? There is no structure of doing that. So you put 20,000 fingerlings and you sit back. You don't go to find out, did we manage to harvest 10,000 fish, or what did we get out of it? Now, do we expect the donors to continue funding such an enterprise where it's just pumping money and nothing is coming out of it? Money being such a scarce resource, whatever little money we get from the donors or we get from anybody needs to be put to its best use so that we can be able to achieve the optimum we can be able to achieve from it. It is sad to hear an honorable member saying that public participation is not being done. You are going to stock a dam in an area and you don't do public participation. If you go to stock a dam in an area, my expectation would be you would even create a subcommittee of that on that area to take care of the fish in that pond. It's a resource you put there. So you even elect a committee of people there who will be able to take care of those fingerlings. We will be able to communicate or to get in touch with the department and find out whether there are any feeds which are available, whether there are any drugs which are available, so that they can keep on monitoring what is happening in the pond. But we go like 3 officials from the Department of Agriculture and 2 officials from the local ward administrator and the rest, and you go and you put 20,000 fingerlings in a pond and you walk away. Then it's like taking money and going to a bush and leaving it there and walking away. We need to do things in a better way. We need to do things in a much more organized and structured manner. Thank you very much, honorable members. The House is adjourned. To resume again, before I adjourn, remember, we are going at 12:30. 12:30, there is that engagement with IEBC at Social Hall. This pertains to polling stations. They want to talk up to review polling stations. If there is an honorable member who feels that there is polling stations which need to be added, or if there is a polling station which needs to be decongested, because there could be some polling stations which have got like 5, 6, 7 streams and take a very long time during the voting period, and there could be another facility nearby where you can be able to split and decongest a polling station. This is the chance we have now to go and engage with the IBC officials at the social hall here in Machakos. And as I said, it will be a 1-hour affair. We should be back again here at 2:30 to be able to deal with the report on Southeastern Kenya Economic Bloc, SECEB. The House adjourned to resume again on Wednesday, the 22nd day of September, 2021 at 2:30 p.m. Enjoy your lunch.